What is up, guys? Brandon here with Wake Your Neighbors. Today we are going to be talking about none other than the 2020 Corvette. This video is just going to be about the facts, the things we know, such as like starting point, some of the features that are involved with this C8, and then we can also veer off a little bit into what we want to see with the car as it evolves. But from there, let's get going. And the first thing we are going to talk about is the pricing point of under $60,000. With this pricing point, that does play a huge role in the Corvette world. One thing a lot of people loved about the Corvettes is that the pricing point of being from a $50,000 to up to $100,000 car, we could find it in our budget to get one. With the Corvette, it's unlike any other American car. It really is like the American dream car. When you have one, you kind of have that old school feel of, I am living the American dream. And with the announcement of the C8, there was a lot of speculation that, oh, this is going to be over a $100,000 car right off the bat, and it kind of just shot that dream out. Now, with that being said, I highly doubt you will see one of these, especially in their first 6 months to a year being sold at that MSRP of $60K. It's almost going to be that same effect as the GT350 and the GT350R. All of those had an upsale of over $10,000 on their MSRP. Say if one was $65,000, the dealer marked that thing up to about $75,000, $80,000 just because they knew they could get it. Now, moving on to some of the specs, it will have a 6.2 liter V8, which is great to see because some of the speculation again was maybe it was going to be a turboed V6, stuff like that. But as a Corvette enthusiast, we all love that V8 sound. And what this motor is going to be putting out is 495 horsepower. And it says with the Z51 package, you got to remember, so the base Stingray will be a little bit slower. With that Z51, you're looking at 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. With that 3 seconds, that is super impressive, but if you're wondering how they're getting that, is because the main reason is there won't be a manual in this car anymore. And for me especially, that is a big negative to the C8. I love everything about it so far, but not having a manual transmission and them only putting in DCTs, which are very quick, they shift amazingly fast, you don't skip a beat in them. But for me and a car enthusiast, I love that manual transmission. But of course, it's not all about acceleration. The new Vette won't truly be considered a supercar if it lacks handling, and that's the point of running the V8 amidships. Moving the heaviest part of the car into the middle makes for a fundamentally better cornering, while a new stiffer chassis and revised suspension are very crucial in this build. Now, all of the Vettes will get coilover suspension, with those opting for the Z51 package, which generally is about a $5,000 package. You will get adjustable spring purchase and additional struts. And if you've ever had a Z51 Grand Sport or Z06, you're going to be wondering about that magnetic ride. Now, without the Grand Sport or the Z06 not coming out yet, it should automatically be on those cars, but for this 2020 Stingray, it is going to be an option. So it's going to be a payable option, and of course, I'm sure it's going to be at least $3 to $4 grand. One thing I am super hyped about that this car will have is the automatic nose lift. And what that does is going to lift that front end for you while you're going over like speed bumps or pulling into your driveway. That extra 1.5 to 2 inches is such a huge deal, and so that way you won't scrape that front end of the nose when pulling in or out. Another great positive thing about the C8 is it still will be a target top. So you're going to be able to have that removable top, and it's going to slide right into, it might not slide into the frunk now, we don't know yet, but it is still going to be removable, and that way you get the best of both worlds. Take it off, put it on, whatever you want, and you don't have to really worry about leaks and that cheap looking fabric of the convertible. Moving to the inside, you're now going to have a 12-inch infotainment system that promises all the smarts that a modern sports car has. The C6 was absolutely horrible. The C7 did have a good upgrade, and it continued to better itself. but now you're going to have the Chevrolet's performance data recorder, and this can be active all the time, acting like an integrated dash cam. On the track, it's going to record your laps, your 0 to 60s, and all that other fun stuff that you want to show off to your friends. There is some controversy about the steering wheel on the inside. It's a double D shape, so it does look a little bit strung out, but this is kind of like a thing for Corvette. For some reason, they continue to always push out these weird steering wheels in their first gen cars. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the look of the thing. Shifting the motor to the middle clearly necessitates a radical redesign, and Chevrolet killed it. It keeps that long nose look of a traditional Corvette, but it also puts in that like supercar aspiration feel. From the side, massive side intakes dominate the view, pulling in air to keep that mid-mounted 6.2 liter fed and cooled. From the above, the V8 is the most commanding feature, putting on display beneath there is a 3.2 millimeter glass pane, so everyone can see inside it. But from the rear, the Corvette perhaps looks a little bit awkward. Angular taillights now more squished than before, and they're kind of wedged in the above vents. For me, after taking some time to examine it, I really like the overall look. Yes, but the rear of the base Stingray is just a little too busy. But I have a feeling things will start to look a little more appropriate once the racier editions of the Corvette start to roll out, such as the Grand Sport and the Z06. The looks altogether of the 2020 will be divisive to say the least, but there's a lot to digest and more precariously an awful lot of history to consider. I suspect some of the traditional Corvette buyers will struggle to get their heads around this new mid-engine layout, but anyone with an eye towards performance will probably be salivating at the looks of this car. For now, those are just some of the facts that I know about the 2020. Drop in the comments below if there's anything else that you guys know about it or anything that's missing. Until then, we'll see you on the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you later.